This will be an interesting one. I'm actually thinking I've got to grab something first for the beginning of this, because this one's not going to work normally. I'm just getting a piece of yellow paper for this job. So now we're just going to get stuck in and see what we can do with this. So, going there with that. This will be an interesting one. This one's got to be 400. It's only fairly small, almost tiny. We're going negative, or are we going to just keep it original? Going to add some contrast to this. Going to lighten it right up, or maybe a little bit darker. See if this one can be made to look good, even though it's a challenging one to work with. Right, it is challenging. It's not the easiest little original to use, but anyway, it's a plastic frog. Oh, I thought the right one didn't have the red dot for a moment, so now we're just going to put our little plasticky rendition of a frog on the glass. See how he looks and how he goes. We're just going to put we're going to put a yellow piece of paper behind him, and we're just going to gently lower the dot feeder. I don't know if we're going to crush him, even though he's not a real frog. Just as well he's not a real frog. That would be animal cruelty. That's one of the good things about plastic models, even though plastic is usually a dirty word ecologically, is that you can do this kind of shit and it works. The frog wouldn't survive if I did that, if it was a real frog. So that's one of the few ways I can justify having a plastic frog is basically that it can take a lot of abuse and it doesn't hurt. The frog is just a model, it's just an inanimate object, and I'm just trying to see which way I've got to put it to centre it. Or maybe I can I'm just trying to think which one I'm going to use. It's so hard to get this right. So I think one of the feet, the little short foot, is a little bit close to the edge. So I'm just going to turn him round again and put the dot feeder down on it. Well, it's good. It's a good thing to have these plastic frogs for activities like this. How else can you photocopy an actual frog? But I mean, this is only from a cheap shop. This isn't actually a science class model, I don't think. Although it's quite good for something you get from a cheap shop. Normally shit that comes from cheap shops is absolute shit. So I'm wondering if that's going to be pretty much it, or we're going to turn that into a mirror image. That's going to be a challenge. So I'm wondering if we're going to take this one and we're going to remove this one, and we're just going to grab I'm just going to put our frog aside, our little plastic frog, and I'm going to choose how we're going to enlarge this. This is going to be a huge challenge. So we're just going to put that within the A6. So we're just going to put that in the A6 area, or the A5. This is challenging. I'm again having difficulties trying to get my demos to look good. It's not easy trying to do it this way. I'm trying to take guesses and shit. So now I'm just don't know how this is going to work. So 200, and for the vertical we're going to make it, so we're going to Ah, 14.4? No. I'm just going that way. I don't know if I'm going to make this. I'm going through a bit of a difficulty trying to create my demos nicely. Just having a lot of difficulty today trying to get my demos happening quick and easy. But not everything's easy, and you can't have everything being easy, otherwise it would be a boring world to live in. So now I'm thinking maybe, that looks interesting. So I'm thinking maybe we can just, I think his head is, I'm just going to grab this and see if I can find the head of the frog on this picture. So you can just see, yeah, that's the head. It's going to have to move up a bit or considerably, so I'm just doing it like that. And we're just going to maybe change the enlargements a bit. So we're going to make this going 210 by 100, 14.1 again, 145. We're going to make it that. I'm trying to be intuitive with my work instead of trying to, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Because often when I don't make it too hard for myself, it often becomes easy. Sometimes accidents happen that are good accidents, so I try to keep myself open to the good accidents. And I think this is pretty close to what we want. It actually looks quite nice, and I'm just wondering, however, which part's going to be the centre of this job. I'm thinking down there, the little bum of the frog, the bottom. We're just going to, so it looks like the intuition has paid off this time. Let's see how we go. It looks good, and the colours are different. It's nice to have blue on a yellow background, because blue represents sadness and depression. A lot of the time, and the yellow represents happiness and joy and peace and all that. So I'm sure a lot of people probably agree with me on that matter, you know, that, but all colours, pretty much most colours are beautiful in their own right. Even blue is beautiful in its own right, even though to me it symbolises sadness and depression. So it sort of symbolises moodiness. It's just not my favourite colour in that respect, but colour-wise it's nice. It's a beautiful colour. Doesn't always have to be about depression and sadness, and, you know, but sometimes it just reminds me of that. Okay, let's see how that looks. A little specimen of a plastic frog. So let's see how we go. Hopefully, well, at least people know it's a plastic frog, because when I put it on my YouTube channel, that's what I call it, a plastic frog. I state exactly what it is. It is a plastic frog. Fortunately, unlike the real ones, they don't squish and they don't have feelings when they're alive. You don't want to kill a native animal. So, you know, it's beautiful. But anyway, there's our plastic frog in a nice little pattern. So I think now I'm quite happy. We can now call it quits.